That's what it is at the moment. It's just, yeah, I guess it's not even knowing. It's that limbo place of not even knowing what's next or what is. When you have that, when you create the space, then it comes in, trying to work it out before it's ready to come in. It makes it, maybe forces it to become something that's not supposed to be. Just generally with things.
Which I feel like you've experienced throughout. I feel like it's your process of creating. Tends to feel it out. It might not have a shape or a name yet.
Yeah.
But you have quite a strong feeling about what something is going to be. And then that takes form.
Yeah. Yes, even like the creation of the studio. It was like that. I would even really went in the place and saw it. Yeah. And knew. I've always had in my mind of what I wanted. Even like just the double height, the barn, the skylights and stuff, but not knowing what form it would really be in. Like even when you first came in, saying, "Can you help me create studio?" I don't really know what the studio is or what to do. But I think it took many forms in that time as well. Yeah, I think it was a very free flowing space, which lends itself to exactly your way of creation as well. Like Audrey was saying, it's like, it changed from week to week, class to class. It was never a structured thing, even though we had classes that may have been structured, which was what was so beautiful about it. And I think that's what people felt homely and free space as well, because it was adaptable and that sort of mirrors life for everyone.
It's a beautiful way to put that. Yeah. It allowed people to come in and be in a little bit of that kind of free flow, slightly unknown, but also really well held.
Yeah. Yeah, it's giving this space for then that organic feeling just with, but it was more a place that allowed it to evolve, or the creation of it was very much about who else was there and what else was going on. And that's probably why it's been such a hard thing for lots of people, for it not to exist, because it was kind of became part of their life, and that rather this thing that they go to and then leave and then stays there. It's like, it's just, and I think that's always difficult as well, especially in the world that we live in the Western world. It's like we really struggle with the ending of things. But then it's so interesting because Soul is like a yoga and well-being studio, and in the much Eastern philosophy, it's like things don't always end when things die, and it's like there's always this rebirth or this chance for rebirth, reincarnation. And that's sort of what Soul's doing as well. It's like it's not ended, it's the physical space is ending, and that's really painful and that's really hard, and there's always sadness in things ending, but there's also so much scope now for Soul to still exist, and it does still exist, and it will still exist, and that's sort of like the rebirth side of things as well, which is it's really interesting.
Energy never dies. You created quite a distinct energy, that is still here. Just in different forms, taking different material realities.
Because it existed before the studio as well. It did. Like your Soul Studio's been for since 2018. So it's like this has been like the marker, because it was a big physical space that a lot of people came to, but it still existed before and it will exist after, which is, it's actually, it feels a bit tentative and a bit tense at the moment, but it's also really exciting. And like, or you've seen Soul through so many phases as well. Right from the beginning, the shop on Foster Avenue. And because even when I was thinking I needed to close Solstice on Regent's Park Road as Solstice, I think the reason I didn't do it for quite a while when I needed to financially was because I knew so many people came to it and loved coming to it and having the conversations, because people used to come in and not buy anything, but they come and have the conversations with it. And that's what people also felt, that the Soul in Berkeley works as well. So that's the part that has existed in all these places.
Yeah.
And it's finding the way for that to continue, which it still will, but and I don't want to say reassuring people that it will, because people might not want to be in the next place or come to the next place, but that essence that has stayed in all the different places that I've created and still is at roots, that essence is there. So it's giving people that reassurance that still exists.
That remains. Yeah. And it's a choice whether you'd like to engage with it.
Yes.
Or not.
Yeah. So when people go through this different moments in life when they need something, like the thing that found really difficult on the weekend was the amount of people that were saying how much the place has like saved them through different periods of their life, or has been has really helped them on really healing journeys, or been a savior to some when they've been going through something really, really difficult. That was like it was beautiful to hear, but also felt really like hard because of that this place that helps people. It feels like it won't exist, and I feel like I'm taking that away from them, but I'm not consciously. I couldn't keep it there financially, like as much as I would have loved to. But that's the hard thing, is knowing when there's something that really helps people and then it can't exist. And but then maybe it was also supposed to be there. It's like they always say, what's that thing they say about therapists? It's like a good therapist, you don't want to be seeing them for years. So it's like you have it for a short period of time and then you move on, and maybe when the dust has settled and it's a hindsight thing, it's like that was a really good space for people. And I've had stories from people coming into the studio that they were going through some really hard things, and it's them for that period of time. But now it's maybe time for them to move on or find somewhere else that they can feel like that. And I feel like Soul also did that for all of us. It wasn't just like members and community, it was like everyone that worked there. It touched the lives of so many people. And that's just adapting now, and it's changing, and it doesn't have to be exact. Nothing has to stay the same. Nothing has to be linear, and it's still going to be painful, but we can still grow and have soul in our lives if we want to. Yeah, the ending thing. Yeah, doesn't. It's not. It's just always. It's another keeps going
evolution.
Yeah,
and people are always like, I guess recently as well, really coming back to the importance of third spaces, and I think that's something that you quite naturally create.
Yeah,
it's like the environment and somewhere where people can really come and be and connect with each other and maybe learn something about themselves and slow down as well, like finding a point of stillness, a point of grounding and coming back to self in an environment like London, in a city like London, which is like super, super, super fast paced and chaotic, and can push people to really be anxious and dissociated. And I feel like the spaces that you create are places where people get to slow down and get even a moment of relief from that. And so, but I also see that as those are the physical spaces you create, but also the maybe digital spaces you create, like this, for instance, and beyond whatever is next.
Yeah. What is next?
What is next?
I think also, like you just said at the beginning, it's that allowing things in, and we were all so busy. You more than anyone I've ever met in my life, so busy with the day to day. It was just so full of all the admin of all this and the next, and it was like that was great, and it's what needed to happen to keep the running of the studio open. But what it didn't do is it didn't allow you the space to create, and you're such a creative force that now you have that space, so it's exciting to see what's next. But I think time will tell. And I think you also have such a gut feeling of when things are right and when they're not right. So I know when something's right, it will feel like it's the time.
Yeah, definitely.
And the things flow then.
Yes.
Funny when something's not.
something doesn't,
Yeah.
you can feel the like stagnant energy and like the stickiness or the tension where you're trying to push through and it's like not working and it's not easy, it's not smooth, and not everything has to be easy because it's not.
Yeah.
But there's a sense of, even if it's not easy, usually there's a sense of like, yeah, but this is the move, this is right. And if it doesn't feel like that, the universe serves up.
Oh yeah, 100%. And there was definitely like towards, I would say, the last few months, and as much as Soul was beautiful and it still is, there was this like maybe lack of flow state. There was a lot of disjointedness, and there was a lot of like, and it felt a lot up here, which is very interesting because I was feeling like that as well. And I know that's exactly how you were feeling, and getting that flow state back will be imperative for what comes next as well. So yeah.
I know we flowed very beautifully into kind of generally what's been kind of happening and how you're feeling about it. Is it good to kind of introduce ourselves? We can always, place this at the start, repatch them up, but it might be, since we're in a flow now, might be worth saying hello. You can hear my voice in the back if you're not watching it. I am the anonymous person in the back. No, I do have pain, but perhaps Jodie should go first.
Yes.
Can I just hide still? Try.
No, you're visible. I got that Leo midheaven. Let's go. Show your face. We want to see
I remember when I did the astrology course, which I never managed to finish. Gemini. Classic. And they said like there were so many different Leo aspects, and I was like, I'm not Leo. Like I don't like, because I always thought of Leo as being someone that wants to be not center for attention in a bad way, but like likes to be sort of like could be very seen, I guess. Yeah. And I was like, that's like, I'm quite happy being the background, being always of introvert. And they were like, yeah, but your body, your makeup isn't. Well, so I'd step into it. And I remember them saying, go and when you're next in the car, just turn the music up really loud and sing really loud. You need to like get that, get that used to.
Did you do it?
I did. It felt very
good. Good. But that's what's interesting, because I think personality-wise, you don't have a ton of that kind of Leo placement, but you do in terms of career, your calling, and how you're seen and recognized. And so there is something about stepping into even something like this where like you're seen, you're heard as you, because Leo is also about authenticity. And being like bold in yourself, and you don't have to necessarily do that like day to day, but you naturally kind of are going to be thrust into that.
And actually I'm quite okay with, like, in confidence way, let's say if we were in a group and something needs to be said to someone, I don't know, at a restaurant or something, I've always been the one that gone and done it. And so it's that kind of quiet assuredness, totally, as opposed to, but then
me, look at me.
Yeah, but then I know it need to be.
No, it's kind of easy. Except now I'm hiding.
Yeah. But I'm stepping into that more.
Yeah.
But yeah, gonna not introduce myself again.
Yeah. You kind of did without giving your name or anything else. But
I'm Jodie. Hi.
Hi, Jodie.
I am, for anyone that doesn't know, I am the founder of Soul Studio, which trying to work out what it is. It's been like a wellbeing company, but is it just wellbeing? Well, wellbeing's everything, and it's more like creating spaces and places, experiences for people to connect to themselves, to others, to like light up their soul, get excited, get balanced. It's almost like just like this existence, and it's like has so many possibilities, and maybe never having had a proper complete set plan for it has allowed all these different paths to take. shape and it grow and evolve when they're supposed to grow and evolve, which is doing now again. Yeah, that's me. Hi.
Also roots.
Roots. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's physical.
Yeah. And there's now that we can create lots of really exciting things there. So if anyone doesn't know, Roots is the cafe that I've got in Primrose Hill. But it's very community orientated. It's a place that lots of locals like to come to be because they can just be. It's not like a quick, fast turnaround cafe, which again isn't great financially, which is a problem with like the lovely feel places and community spaces in this world. It doesn't balance with the way that the systems and society is built and the taxes and everything for these beautiful places to exist, because the finances, business rates, like quadrupling and equal, like all these factors make it very hard to have these places, but they're so important, especially after COVID.
Yeah.
Like one of the main things that people wanted was places to come back together.
Yeah. I think, I mean, these places are at tension with capitalism, and it feels like if you try to meet and make your way through the system and check all the boxes, the beauty of it kind of dies. And that feels really difficult, because then it's like, how are you supposed to make something sustainable?
Yeah.
And so I think that's been part of this journey for a long time of it. It's like trying to keep this sacredness of what you've created and of these spaces, and people really responding to that, because that's what we crave. We want real connection. We want something that has a heart to it.
Yeah.
But right when you kind of have to play the capitalist system, it goes off and it stops to have that heart.
Yeah. And you have to close.
You have to close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is literally like if I have had a bunch of cash, or then we wouldn't have had to close. There's so many places closing. I just see on Instagram all the time. Yeah, it's crazy. Like it's just one after the other, and all the stories that I've been seeing people explaining are really similar to how I've created the studio with businesses. It's all these independent owners who have put like heart and soul into it, and they maybe didn't know the business side that well. Maybe if they had known the business side, things would have been better. But also,
I don't know, like you look how amazing Soul was doing it in terms of capacity for January, and even in December was obviously always a bit of a bleak month for everyone, but apart from if you're a Christmas but like our classes were full, workshops were doing well, private hire was great. It's like that it's just sort of set up to fail for a lot of independent business owners in the UK, especially those, as you say, creating spaces for people to come and be and nurture themselves, which is so sad, because we are living in a society where there's this collective unrest and collective need for healing. Like there's such a desperate need for people to come together. And, you know, I would say pre-COVID, I was working in studios where it was super busy. And then COVID happened, and then it really died down, and getting that aspect of bringing it back, and it's taken a long time. And with everything else that's going on in the world, and people now are desperate for places to come together, and there's a lack, or there's places that open and close or have to adjust and move, and it's really sad. And you know, the prices of classes as well for things have had to go up so much. It's just such a strange time, but people are desperate, and it's busier for those spaces than it ever has been.
Yeah.
I remember when we first opened and we were having to price everything, and I went to classes, or I've never worked in a studio, which thank goodness you were there with all that experience. But when we're seeing like what other places charge and what the norm is, and I'm just like, that's just insane. Like, how can you charge that much? And so, like, even just the price of having our prices low, but there's just no way you can exist. And so all these things that are supposed to do good and for people to feel better, it's just not even, it's so hard for that to exist. I mean, in all industries,
it's just been completely capitalized, as we know, with well-being anyway. But it's like a lot of it's trend driven now. So, yeah, it's like the classes that, and I'm not saying that trends are bad. They bring people to well-being, which is a really important thing that people come to learn about looking after themselves, feeling well, and all these things. But there'll be a buzzword that everyone jumps onto, and then the traditions or the softer side or the real holistic important side of well-being, which is just being with yourselves, being with your breath, looking after yourself, eating well, blah 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 blah, sort of gets pushed to the wayside, and everyone's like, it's all about longevity, and I want to live to 100, and then suddenly everyone's focused on those trends and those things get missed. So it's just, it's such a strange time. And actually community is the thing.
Yeah.
That actually, if you're looking at something like longevity, having community around you is one of the biggest indicators of living a long and fruitful and healthy life. And those small things get really overlooked, and that's sort of where we end up with all of these small businesses having to close, and it's so strange.
Yeah. So it's like, the longevity thing, it's really interesting how society focus on things like that. Like, if we need to live the stuff so we can, but isn't it more about the quality of the life? And I think people are reframing the longevity aspect now as well, because it's like, you live to 100, but
you spend the whole time in an office on your phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's those moments of quality.
It's not for me.
No,
I'll do 75.
Yeah.
Also, like the body sitting like that, hunched over, like it's just, we're not meant to be doing this.
But it's even like used the other trend. I think it's going the other way, which is really nice. But there's been a huge time where it's like the movement side of things has always been go to a high intensity exercise class, get it all out because you need to burn off extra energy. And I feel like now we're switching back to more of like the functional movement, listening to your bodies, like even the yoga trends. I mean, people will obviously, I love a dynamic practice as well, but there's more people won't be doing the restoratives and the slow flows and
or look at like lower cortisol.
Exactly. And that's a really nice space to see everything switching in.
I think that's what we had very much in our classes, which people really, and that's why, but when they came, and that why they're feeling such a loss, because it was that thing you almost can't describe, that feeling that we were talking about earlier, that ritual feeling, or I can't remember that.
It's like
It's the soul of it. Yeah. So you go and do a class, but when so many like teachers, which just probably send me off.
They
bring a magic.
Yeah. I actually had one of our teachers who used to teach for us, and it just said, so sad, that place had soul. And I was like, it did. And it does, it still does.
Yeah. It was that thing that you'd be in the class, and it was just you could feel how just the feeling within it that it connects to you, rather than just doing the thing. And that's the thing that is missing from so much in life. So when you create that, and then it's not able to exist, it's like you kind of want to fuck the system that's not letting it exist. I know, but then you're in it and it's not able to exist. It's like, oh, great, we're just in this circle. It's like, well, how can we create these places? It's like, well, how can we keep them existing? What can we do? Don't really know, but we'll just keep trying, I guess.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. It's like, and there's so many of us all doing that, which is all the people that used to teach or work there. And they all were like, whatever. That everyone says that they've worked in other places, but there was something else there, and they might have been able to earn more from another place, but they would want to be in Seoul because of what it did for them, what it did for others. But it's more than just about earning money. But the thing is, you do have to earn money to be able to pay the bills, pay your rent. So it's like this juxtaposition, right word? I never find the right word.
I guess,
what's the catch-22? I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah.
But I was thinking also, I mean, you both did such a fantastic job at getting like the most beautiful souls into the space in terms of like teachers, staff, like everyone.
Yeah.
And so even that created such a wonderful community. And every class I took as well, I felt that sense of like holding, that this isn't just the normal class. Like people are really bringing themselves, their authenticity, their lived experience, and creating something really, really special. And, you know, it's not often that you work in a place where you actively form bonds and make friends. And that happened really naturally. It happened super naturally. It's such a privilege to be able to come and work in a place where you really get along with people and vibe and like have really interesting conversations and learn from each other, you know.
Yeah. I also find so interesting about that. And it's like, yes, obviously we did bring people to the space, but we never put up a job at that in the whole time that So was there. It's like, did you randomly attract? Yeah, I remember one of our front of house members. She said she just went out on a walk one day and followed her feet, and it took her to Solstice. She walked in and she was like, "Do you have any jobs going?" And whoever was in Solstice at the time was like, "No, not here, but there's a studio that's about to open that's owned by the same." That's how I got there.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's how I got here with
over 4 years ago.
Yeah. But that is it. And it's like the teachers and stuff, a lot of them I'd have relationships with for a long time. But even like that, I'd then sometimes put a message in the teachers group and be like, "I'm looking for a teacher to teach XYZ. Do you have any recommendations?" And then they flood in, and then it's like a vibe check, you know. It's like that was the most important thing, I think, in the studio for that you've always said to me since day one. It's like making sure that whoever is coming in will hold the space in the same regard that we do, because that's if you don't have that, if you don't have your integrity and that warmth and that care, then you're just any other space, you know. And that's what was so magic.
Yeah. And also, like, if you're viewing it, even as a practitioner, if you're viewing it as this is just a way to make money versus this is something I live and breathe and believe in and really want to invite people into, and those are all the people you brought to the space.
So, but then look at how much community they did bring, and I know it was a huge space, and there was space for 45 people. But you know, I've worked in studios where they have had large space, and the classes weren't always that full. And I would say solidly on a weekend you had 30 to 40 in pretty much every single class.
That's amazing.
By the end, which is like, that's what people come back for. And like seeing members interact, that's what I will like always hold dear in my heart, because you know, they'll sit around and then you'll sometimes see them in Roots having a coffee together, or like you see those friendships blossom. And it's something that we had the opportunity, we allowed that, and those things will never go. We had this space to let people form these relationships that will ultimately probably go on to change their lives forever, or be a part of their lives for a long time. And that in itself that's what community is.
Such a privilege.
And that's what it's part of. Such a privilege to be a part of. And that will never go away.
Yeah. And so many people coming and chat to them in Roots or in the studio. And they're like, "I don't live here. I live, yes, where else? Can you come build this in our place?" Because they just people want to be able to know that their community around, and we just don't anymore. We don't even know our neighbours. We don't even know who lives next door or opposite. And even if your area is really nice, it's like, how do you connect with people? And my mum used to go to book readings and stuff at Waterstones, and you'd go and you'd meet like-minded people and things like that, and there's not really those things happening or existing, like those things for people to come together and be around each other without knowing each other, without kind of forced fun.
It's or over drinks.
And no people, and the drinking culture is going. Like, who does want to go? So it's like, that's why some more coffee shops can meet for coffee. But it's like people, you meet for a drink or meet for a coffee if you know the person. You're like, right, let's meet you. But it's like, how do you meet people that you don't know, but you know that you have like-minded things going on? That's what it was. I'm like, shit, it doesn't exist.
No, but it does still. And what else
Like,
again?
in its onyx form.
Yeah.
I think it still exists. Like, we're excited to do more within Roots as well. For some, like all our other, like, create events, create workshops, and bring, like, help curate other people curate their thing. Yeah, it's not so. Can we sit down that? It's actually, but that's always what it was before the space existed. So that's what it will be after the space doesn't exist anymore. And it does exist, actually. There's a beautiful studio there still, and it's just someone else's. And that is like, sometimes that's the lesson of life, is you can't always hold on to something so much. Maybe it's not right for where you are right now, but then you've created that way and that space for it to exist, and then someone else can come in. Yeah, they have, but people that have taken over, as we know, it's like, had something really devastating happen. It's like, you've given them that space to allow them to exist. Yeah. And maybe that's just how it was always supposed to be. Yeah. And they're so similar. Like, when I first met the owner, were so similar in how she runs her business, how she cares about her staff, how she cares about her community, what they've built. It's like, it just, I feel like the space is going to something really, someone who cares as well about the space. And and it's and all the things that I've created before, like properties and things like that. Yeah, I've created things and then passed them on or sold them. Like, so I create the space and then someone else will run it, or and this is the first. I actually sourced it, so I keep from. I have that. Still, yeah, and I just stayed there. But maybe it needed me to stay there to build what it is about. But passing it on isn't the end. It's just, it still exists. Like, the creation, I've created it, and then now it kind of goes like that and trickles out and ripples out, and that being the ripple thing as well. When we had the sound bath on Sunday, the last sound bath, I tried to say something at the beginning, but I couldn't. I was just and analogy. But it was, I was saying how it's like the ripple effect as well is so huge, just with everything in life, and all those people that have got something from the space or from a certain teacher, because it's like the space, but who came in, so they might have gone to a class and then really connected with that teacher and gone to that teacher loads of times, or met a friend or that person, or what they've got that would have changed how their energy is, and then that ripples out to the earth, and that they then meet, or their family, and it's this amazing ripple that I don't even know how far it goes out, but it's still going. And that's like the point of all these. It's so funny because that the last class I taught, last restorative I taught, which was the Tuesday before you told me we were chatting on the Thursday, and then we chat on the Monday. So it was actually my last class I taught. That was what I spoke about with Dance with Carrie. And I was like, there's so much going on right now, and there's so much chaos, and everyone's feeling like this, not just from society, but from the rest of the world and everything else. And actually coming to practice for yourself, coming to a space where you can be still, you become present, you come taking away from the external, coming into the internal. By doing that, you create space, and in that space, you allow so many things to come in, rest, decompression, creativity, whatever it is. But that kindness, practicing from yourself and going and doing something for yourself, whether it's 5 minutes in the morning of silence or whatever it is, that then allows you to approach the rest of the world in a different way. And that exactly the same thing that ripples on through everywhere else. So
everybody thinks that they're too small to make a difference, but it's, you know, if you actually take 5 minutes, even if it's in the morning, to be with yourselves, that can have an unprecedented effect on the wider community, which is like so funny that you said that. And that was exactly what I was saying. Oh my God.
When you didn't even know it was wrong.
No.
None of us knew it was last class.
No.
And that's
Sometimes endings are abrupt, and that is part of life. It's painful. Sometimes it's necessary. It's kind of that where you kind of surrendered there.
Yeah.
But then there was also something you said that was reminding me of like I don't know, the like healthiest forms of creativity and the healthiest forms of like the mother archetype, which is the creation, or the parent archetype, if we don't want to gender it. And there's something about creating something, nurturing something, feeding, watering it, and then letting it go live.
Mm-hmm.
And the kind of, you know, more shadowy parts of that would be to smother it, to go, actually, I'm not letting you go. I don't want you to breathe by yourself. I need to constantly be attached umbilical cord to you in order to feed you. But I think what you do quite well is, I'm going to create this thing, I'm going to nurture it, and there's going to be a point where I'm going to have to let go and let it be.
Mm-hmm.
Let it live and evolve by itself. And I think that's kind of I think that's an amazing thing to role model for people as well. You know, that I'm someone that gets attached to things very quickly. So like saying goodbye to the space, for instance, I'm like having a hard time. Like, I almost don't want to go see it and it be something else right now, because I'd find that quite difficult because I've grown attached to it. But also, change is good. Change is inevitable, and it also is out of our control.
Yeah.
And there's something like really deeply painful and moving about that. But the fact that you're even me watching you release it is kind of like weirdly healing, because I'm like, I don't know how I could do that. That's really hard.
I agree. Big time. Yeah. You know, and I feel like because that's exactly what it is, and that's how you exist, and that's how you create things, which is so beautiful. It was even when you told me on Thursday, when you just found out the day before, it was obviously so sad, and we obviously were crying a lot, but then I just saw exactly that, and I was like, okay, so what do we need to do now? You know, it was like, I get it. And it just completely made sense. And it's like, there will always be this painful and pain and sadness. But as you're right, Aud, it was such a lesson for me to be like, we can't just keep holding on to things forever, especially things that might not be right for us or might not be serving us in the best way anymore. And yeah, sometimes you just have to release that grip and sort of let them go. And like you say, it's still going to exist, and it's now still, the community can still go there, and it can still be a part of everything that it's ever been, just without us there every day, because we have other things that we need to go and create, which is so amazing and so beautiful.
And we couldn't create, there's so many things that we were wanting to do. We've had so many ideas, and we just haven't been able to do the amount of things that we say, oh, okay, cool, we'll sit down next week and let's do this, let's do that. And there's such exciting, beautiful things. And we're like, oh shit, weeks gone past, we won't be able to, we'll do it next week. Yeah, because there wasn't the space.
Yeah.
And now there is the space. And I went like so on Monday when the first Sana had their first classes, I went there at 6 a.m. to try to make sure they could actually get in. And then went back and did a class, and it was like I wanted to be in the space. Yes, not like I can't. God, I know I can't go back. It's like I was in the space, and there was some of our lovely regulars there as well. Regulars, is that the right word? Yeah. People in our community that and they were there as well experiencing it. And it was so full of so much love and people coming in that it's like the people that came to us before will be finding it really hard because they won't know when, you know, it's different. So I understand that it's not like, oh, everything's fine and like that. Really honouring that for a lot of people,
changes like
it's going to be really hard, and it's not the same place that they knew and that they want to be able to go to. But if it wasn't Sana being able to be there, then maybe nothing would have been there. Maybe it would have become horrible offices. Who knows who would have gone in, because I couldn't sustain being there like another month. Like I tried so hard, and like crowdfunding, investors, all these things, and so close with so many of them. But it's like so many times with Sources with Soul, when there's a brick wall continually, like, and you try this way, try that way, try that way, and there's consistently a brick wall of not letting it flow. It's like, okay, there's a reason why this is happening over and over with all these different paths that one of them should be able to work. And it's like, okay, actually maybe. And then the fire happening, like, so bizarre. The day after hearing that a possibility of financial that might have been able to sustain a little bit longer wasn't going to happen. Then there's the fire literally the next day, and we looked out on the street and we saw it, like we were in groups.
It was crazy.
The smoke, and then we're saying that we both were watching it, thinking there's something else, that this is more than just us watching fire.
It was like a pivotal moment, and I knew that nothing was ever going to be the same ever again. And it actually gives me weird goosebumps feelings about it. Like and it was weird because no one else from Seoul was around us. It was just you and me stood in the street and looking at it.
And I saw it and I was like, oh, something's about to happen.
Yeah.
And
I remember we just looked at each other. We didn't even really say anything, but I just knew. I was like, something's going to change forever. And it was so devastating for them, horrendous, and for their community.
Yeah.
And actually what the Sana taking over the Barclay Works has sort of given the opportunity for, maybe if our community want to as well, but for them to meld together. There's actually a time, it's a potential for expansion, rather than potentially, if you tried to hold on to Seoul as the physical space and didn't want to give it up because you felt like you wanted to keep trying, there would be a potential for neither space to exist now. So it's like you had to be able to let it go, and you've given the potential for the community to grow and spread even wider, which is actually just so beautiful in itself.
And there were just loads of weird synchronicities as well, because like the building that Sana was in, I used to work in. It was Fierce Grace.
Yes.
Crazy. And then when I saw the picture of that studio inside that had been burned up, that was what I've been in there so many times. I cleaned that thing. I mopped all the floors. I've done practice there. Like, and then having had distance, and then now being at Seoul, and then all of a sudden there's some really interesting, like, some regeneration, almost like reincarnation kind of things happening with these spaces. That's fascinating to watch, painful to experience, but fascinating to bear witness to.
And the fact that Olivia, the owner of Sana, and I, like, she's been there for years, and I've been in Primrose. We've never known about each other, and just a few days before the fire, I met someone that has known her since she was 13 years old. Like, they're old friends. She tried to connect us about 2 days before the fire, and we were just both really busy. And then the fire happened, and then we were connected the next day, and we felt this immense feeling of trust between each other, that we could talk to each other in a really open way about both our businesses, about both our lives, and what we needed from each other, what we were needing from just something that, if we hadn't had that mutual connection, we wouldn't have had those really open conversations that then led to me knowing that if I didn't release the space to her, then it might not exist at all for anyone. That only we were only able to have those conversations because of this person that I met a few days before. It's like the synchronicities are just
wild. Yeah. I mean, that kind of stuff is fated.
Yeah, like how
100%.
Also, how is it able that we're in such a small area, Primrose Hill, we're in wellbeing, and we haven't connected? Like, what does that say about the whole world? Like we've said this, like we live with as well, and so many people said this, that all these, we should all be working together, and that, like, Olivia absolutely is, like, working together and wanting, but like the whole, all us in wellbeing especially should be working together to make as many places that people can go to feel better. Yes, like, because it's not about competing or like, oh, we can't go there, we can't go here. Even like the gym membership thing, it made it very, we can only go to that one place, whereas we should all be able to go to as many places as we can for the right thing for that moment. I think that was the sort of, when I was wanting to create Soul, just right at the beginning, it's create these things that will be right for that particular person at that particular time, but it might not be right for that person. So this fluidity of people, events, places, so that everyone can access what they need at that moment in time for them. And yeah, how do I make this?
Well, I guess there is competition. Obviously, there's competition, everything, and from working wellbeing quite a few years now, I've noticed there's more competition in wellbeing than most industries, which is crazy. And it's like we all have that same goal for the good of the collective. You know, it's like the idea is that we all want people to come together and be. And I think as practitioners, people that hold space for any form of well-being, business owners, it's a really, you're right, important time for us to come together and nurture and grow. And I hope we see more of that. And I hope that if this situation can teach anyone anything, it's that when you bring your communities together and you nurture and you water what you're trying to bring out or your goals, and if they're shared, you can do it together, that it doesn't have to be the end of everything. You know, there's ways for things to grow and meld together. And I hope this could be a lesson that we can all do better in our communities and come together and rally for each other. And I think that's beautiful, but I think it scares a lot of people as well, because I think as humans we're supposed to want to keep things for ourselves, or that's how we feel. It's quite fear and grabby, and it's hopefully we can sort of let people know, if you drop that, sometimes we can come together and make a beautiful situation out of something horrible.
I noticed that feeling a lot more, especially after COVID, or after this whole sort of the last 10 years of just with so much going on, like politically in the world. It's like when people feel they don't know you to trust, and so, right, I can't trust anyone, so I can only trust myself. So it's like makes this very kind of, well, therapeutically, you've probably got a terminology for it, or I don't know. It's like then, and people become, because there's fear. It's like
more offenses.
That makes it harder.
Driving factor for how people live their lives then. Rather than kind of being able to be open and connect and vulnerable. We're coming near time. I'm aware. That's what I say to clients. I'm aware we're at time. I think we came into this podcast free flowing, unsure what the structure would be, unsure what we wanted to fully address, but I personally thought it was like super great to just hear a bit more about you and your process. And I guess like marking this point, which is a point of loss for a lot of people, and to really yourself massively, but it's also a point of like transformation. And so I really enjoyed talking to you both. Me, the producer voice in the bass. Hello. Yeah.
You can see like a knee or fingers maybe one day.
But yeah, it's, I don't know if you have any kind of closing things to say or would like to say.
Do you go to go back?
Yeah.
But you should end. I just wanted to say that I'm so grateful to all of the community, to all the teachers, to everything. And I'm also grateful to the two of you because, you know, I've known you both for like 2 years now. And the change that Sol and you guys individually have brought on my lap has been so amazing. And I just know that this isn't the end. And I'm really excited for what comes next. So thank you both. And this has been quite just nice to sort of chat about it like it doesn't exist anymore. You know, we're still here, we still exist. It just looks a bit different now. So I love you both.
I feel like that's what I want to have said.
I'm sorry, please.
No, I wouldn't have said it. So I'm like, can I say what you said? Yeah, just I think that was beautiful. That kind of says it all, really. Yeah, and that this is just maybe that I don't know what to say, and then just sitting with that.
Yeah. And you'd said a lot now,
Yeah.
And then at the end, it's hard to have words sometimes.
Yeah. And just feel like a big breath.
Yeah.
Deep breath. Yeah. Just a lot of
We should end with a big deep breath.
Yeah.
Shut the eyes. Okay, let's do it. Take a big inhale through the nose.
Okay, yoga teacher.
Hold it at the top and let it go out the mouth.
That's all.
Love you all.
See you soon.
Bye.